Hello, Shadow Godzilla Mage here. Just kind of sharing a little combo that I like. It's kind of worked for me a little bit. Now, someone might immediately argue that you could put two, demolisher tanks in, for the point cost. I'm not going to disagree with that, but this is just something else you can do. And I don't know why, but it seems to kind of work for me. I'm kind of 5 games in. I'm relatively new to the competitive scene. But yeah, this is what seemed to work for me, and let's get into it. So what we got here is, and I'll go through this, is again 405 points. Little combo I've got, and it seemed to work for me. Certain things, I'm kind of relatively new to the 40k tournament, or not tournament, but the competitive scene, and this is what kind of has been working for me. This little formation I've got right here. So what I've got is 2 armored sentinels. I've got auto cannons on them. Reason why I like the auto cannons is I think they're somewhat flexible. I like the distance. They can go all the way across the board, and I like the amount of firepower you get from them. There's a lot of, that's a lot of rounds going out. So yeah, but I could totally see if you wanted to run this like formation with the heavy flamers. Totally can make sense. You just want something to smack into the unit and screen. What I usually do is I use this formation like to protect my weak side flank. And I kind of like, it kind of worked too, because like, let's say I'm doing my deployment. Oh, I put my armored sentinels down. Oh, I put a chimera down. Oh, I put my armored sentinels down. Like, okay, they put something there. Oh, I put my chimera down. Oh, they put something there. Oh, okay, I put my scout sentinel there. Okay, they think like a lot's going on, when really this is like something I would use to protect my weak side of my army. It's kind of a flexible unit. So, again, I've got my 2 armored sentinels here with the auto cannons, and the armored sentinels are pretty tough. They, like you said, you have to put some good anti-tank or really focused fire, especially to defeat this whole unit. And I believe their deadly demise is only 1. Yeah, so its deadly demise is only 1, so it's not a big deal if they do blow up. So in here I have a chimera. I have a double heavy flamer. I've been caught up in so many melee recently that I'm just happy that I'm running that double flamer, because if I've got some little weak, Zergling or, Gene Stealer Cole guys, or some like those basic infantry Tyranids, like they, it clears it off pretty well. You know what I'm saying? And you get a lot of the shots from these this lasgun array. Especially if you're in melee range, you're gonna get that rapid fire 6. So yeah, it's right here. You get that rapid fire 6 when they're in that half range, which is a lot of firepower, because big guns never tire, and you're allowed to shoot. This lasgun array right here. You're allowed to shoot your main weapons in combat, so you in engagement range. So that's cool, right? And I have a Castellan in there. The reason being, and I'll explain why I have that Castellan in there. I gave him Grand Strategist, and so it puts him up to 70 points, which is a little expensive, but it kind of ties into what I want to do. Grand Strategist gives you another, if you go in here, into your little Battleforge information data book kind of thing, your Castellan can already give 2 orders. So if you give him that Grand Strategist, which is an enhancement that costs 15 points, that gives him 3 orders. That's basically like Ursula Creed, for non-Ursula Creed prices. And the thing about the armored sentinels is they have the regimental and what is it? The regimental and, sorry, go back in here. Squadron keywords. So your Castellan will be able to give them orders, right? And the premise, and I got my Scout Sentinel here, so let me go through and run it through all the units. I was just explaining like why I have that Castellan in there. And so on a side note, that Castellan, I have him with the heavy bolter just because I think bolters are cool, but you could totally run him with a plasma pistol. He comes with a plasma pistol, and then that's like, that's some good firepower coming out of that firing deck, right? And not to mention, that's, your heavy weapons team is going to be embarked at the start of your you know, at the start of all this. So maybe I should have said that at the beginning, but okay. But yeah, so you have your Castellan in there with your plasma pistol. You know, maybe you could go double heavy bolter. You know, I like the flamer because again, this unit is, you know, designed to slow the enemy down, take that melee fight, and kind of, you know, do that kind of things. In Barked, I have the Castellan with the Grand Strategist, and I also have the heavy weapons team. I like the heavy weapons team. People don't like them. They're super squishy, but they give out a lot of firepower. And I'll tell you what, dude, they are so overlooked, completely overlooked. Like, let me go into their data sheets really quick. These crack rockets are no joke. You've got the missile launcher crack rockets, which are heavy, strength 9. So that's the premise of this whole combo right here, right? I've got the Scout Sentinel, which I'll get into him in a second, but you run your Armored Sentinels with your Chimera and your Castellan and your heavy weapon guys embarked in the unit and your Scout Sentinel. And maybe you don't even want to scout, because I think like people want to like scout. So like, all right, I'm gonna run and take those objectives, but like they forget the main reason. Like I think the Scout, and then we're going to the Scout Sentinel. Why the Scout Sentinel is so cool, because he has Daring Recon. So one enemy within 18 units of this unit basically removes cover, or excuse me, you get to reroll once. So what you're doing here, okay, you got your Scout kind of like, okay, and he's my chainsaw fell off. So what you're doing here is you got your Scout Sentinel, Daring Recon on whatever, okay, and it's 18 inches. That's pretty, you know, that's got some range. You have your Armored Sentinels absorbing the punch, and then let's say you do, you know, get into that fight where your guys get surrounded or whatever the case may be, the melee's coming on both sides. You know, you can disembark. I rarely have seen like someone take out a unit of Armored Sentinels, and I say rarely, like I've watched a lot of battles, but I've been in a few myself, and like I haven't had a person, and they have had a lot of firepower, even melee. I haven't had a unit, enemy take out my Armored Sentinels and pop the Chimera and pop the Scout Sentinel all at once. I haven't seen that happen. That's, you know, and that's a lot of dedicated firepower. So if you're dedicating all that firepower, cool, because, you know, I've got a couple Vanquishers on the other side, right? But the premise of this build, right, this formation, is I'm running the Armored Sentinels up, boom, absorb the fight, boom, okay, absorb the blow, but disembark, you know, because turn 1, I don't want my heavy weapons team to get, you know, blasted right away. But when I see them, I'm not trying to get them like, you know, because some people will say like, I'm not taking my heavy weapons or my unit out for nothing, okay? And that's a good art. It's definitely, this is another strategy. This is a strategy that I just seem to work for me. But what I do is I run this Armored Sentinels in there, boom, whatever the case may be. If they're shooting long range, they still have that capacity, because again, he can give 3 orders now: take aim, take aim, take aim, but he's not going to give them to these guys that are still inside. So they're doing their thing. It makes the unit pretty nasty, because you have your Hunter Killers, which are hitting on, I believe, 4s. Yeah, so your Hunter Killers, which will be hitting on 3s. Excuse me, 3s. So now you got to take aim. You have, you know, and that's 2, you know, Hunter Killer missiles, Hunter Killer. It's a, you know, it's a dangerous ranged unit. I got to get some glue and take care of this again. Sorry. But you know, let's say they get into melee combat, you jump out your or there's not melee combat, it's kind of a weaker side. Well, guess what? I can shift fire and drop out this heavy weapons squad right here. And I'll tell you what, I've had this heavy weapons squad with the take aim, and they all have the keyword heavy. Okay. You just pop them out kind of in this, you know, part of the board where, you know, the enemy's kind of like focusing. He's like, oh, okay, I'm not worrying about that. The autocannons got heavy. The crack rockets got heavy, right? So now that heavy is +1 to hit. And then the take aim is +1 ballistic skill. So now I've got crack rockets hitting on 3s. And I've got my autocannons hitting on 3s. You know, and that's like, you know, 2, 3, 4 dice. Let's go. you know, and it's just like a little nasty little combo. And I you know, excuse me. Again, you've got his plasma pistol. I've got the bolter because I just think it's cool. But it's a combo. It's a 400-point combo, and it's what I've used. And it seems to not be really high profile with the enemy. So there you go. It's quick, down, dirty. Sorry if I was exaggerated long, but there it is. Hope you have a good day, and please feel free to obviously like and subscribe, but please feel free to give me your thoughts. You know, hey, this is not going to work. I don't like this or whatever. You know, obviously we want to be respectful to everybody, but hey, like I want to hear, you know, this journey together because I'd like to go, you know, to LVO and kind of these kind of tournaments if, you know, the time allows for it and the situation allows for it. So it's a long road, and some of these guys got years of experience playing this game, but that doesn't mean that, you know, we can't, for us newer players, we can't hit the ground running and, you know, tackle this thing together. So you Longbeards, we're coming for you, you know, all in good fun though. Anyways, have a good one.